Mbak Helianti.
Hi, Malini. It's
Hi,
Malini.
hello.
Hi.
There you
Hi,
are.
ladies. Hi, Philip. Yes, I can do that.
Okay, that's great. So, yeah, we met in Jakarta, I think in February, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Helianti is actually a lawyer, but she became social entrepreneur, and I met her in her flag store in Jakarta. And I was instantly confronted by how little I know of Indonesian indigenous food and how rich Indonesian biodiversity heritage is. And yeah, I'm really grateful she's doing this. Thanks to her, we can all get to learn and taste the rich Indonesian, almost lost indigenous food. Go ahead, Mahelianti. The floor is
Okay.
yours.
Thank you, Malini. Thank you, Liz and Philip, for including me on this event. It's my pleasure. Okay, let me try to get my. Is it out? Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. So as Bulini said, I founded Javara. As you can see, our tagline is Indigenous Indonesia because our work is about sustaining forgotten food biodiversity of Indonesian archipelago. So the more it is being forgotten, the more we try to bring it back to the market, making it sexy and hype. So and as Bulini said, I used to be a lawyer before, and my interaction with the smallholder farmers, indigenous community, is because I was providing pro bono legal advice for farmers groups that are having legal contracts issues with their buyers. And soon, when I started um, doing this pro bono, apparently the cases were too many. So I was ending up doing a road show across Java and Bali for 3.5 months, visiting different farmers groups, different communities. And that's when I saw amazing ingredients that even for myself, I've never tasted, I've never experienced before. And because I'm a complete foodie, I love to cook, I love to eat, I love to travel. So basically, when I came and visit and live in with these farmers, um, I was like a kid going to a toy store. So I went panicking, and I was like, oh my god, So, and apparently because before Javara, I've been traveling to over 40 countries, and being a foodies who love to cook, basically definitely looking into these ingredients sort of like it's like a heaven for me, and I get so excited, but and then I get also very sad because then I learned most of these smallholder farmers, indigenous community, most of the custodian of this forgotten biodiversity, they're already very old. Most of them are about 55 years old, and I realized that the reason why we never get to know this because this product never go to the market. Most of the children of the farmers, they refuse to become farmers because they felt like it's undignifying profession. So everybody wants to go to the big cities and get different kind of jobs. So that's when I started to see the opportunity, but also the challenges, because having been traveled to around the world, over 40 countries, being a foodie, is going to like Michelin star restaurants, fine dining, gourmet specialty. I see the potential of these ingredients. The question is how to bring that to the market. So I started to travel more to understand, the potentials that we have. And as you know, Indonesia comprised of over 17,000 islands of archipelago. And this is where I started to get more and more interested, because basically we also have a very diverse of landscape. So I'm bringing you through some of the different landscapes that I've been traveling to the last 17 years. Of course, two-thirds of Indonesian.
Elianti, Elianti,
Yes.
sorry. Can you just make it the slideshow full screen and from the beginning? Because otherwise we can't see. If you just press the square at the bottom right, or slideshow.
Yes,
Then it
but
gives you
it
full
seems
screen.
like when I change slides, your remote is not changing, right? Right now I'm
So
changing.
if you try slideshow and then
I already done. I already done the slideshow, but I don't know why. So probably I just don't use the slideshow. Can I just use this?
yeah, if you it doesn't work if you press the square on the bottom right.
I've tried, but when I change the slides, it's not working.
Okay. So then
So I'm changing slides right now, but it seems like it's not working.
yeah, now it's changing. So if you go down to the landscapes,
Is it changing right now?
No, it's not.
no.
Oh, okay. So wait, let me check. I think the screen is sort of like being paused. How do I unpause this screen?
Maybe stop sharing and then start again. Yeah, that might unblock it. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank
I'm
you.
moving it. Is already moving or not?
Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, great. Yeah, so basically with these remote and rural areas where we're traveling, we soon realize that there are abundant food biodiversity in different landscapes. So these are some of the landscape that we found. Indonesia is two-thirds are water area, sea, marine area. And then we have the small islands in the eastern part of Indonesia. We have the rainforest. So Philip, is my slides changing as I scroll through?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. And then of course we have the mangrove area. So when you see all these images, it seems like, okay, it's beautiful picture, but actually these are supermarket without the bills, because basically these are all sources of food. So in each of these slides, you can find at minimum 5 different kind of food ingredients. So this is where we realize that even in the dryland area where it's not fertile and it's, very arid land, you can still see a lot of food sources as well. So that's why I come to a conclusion that basically we do not have a food crisis, but we do have food policy crisis, because our food policy is focusing only on very particular type. For example, the staple in Indonesia is basically based on rice, majorly. So this is where actually a lot of our food security is basically damaged because of the policy. So I started to look into why the food biodiversity matters, because basically it's not only tastes good, but also it has a healthy, nutritious elements, and at the same time, they're also very nature positive and climate friendly. This is the issue that we have been facing. So that's why we get so excited of starting Javara, not only because of the opportunity or the potentials of the food ingredients, but also in terms of how we can also help to address food security, addressing healthier diets, and including addressing the environmental challenges. So these are some of the facts that we can easily find, how many people are facing malnutrition, gluten intolerance, autoimmune, hypertension, diabetic. And the solutions of this is basically to find healthier diets is based on our food biodiversity, because our food biodiversity heritage have it all. Whatever the illness you have, whatever the diet you have, actually our food biodiversity have provide that. The problem is the knowledge is gone. The problem is that it's being it's being forgotten, it's being uh, um, de-minimize on the importance. So where do I start? Because basically I don't have any background at all. I'm not a agriculturist. I'm not an agronomist. I'm not a food technologist. I don't have background in food industry. So basically I start taking inspiration from my mother, which is I think the first social entrepreneur I know, and she always give an inspiration on how our life matters when we meet ourselves impactful to others. And basically, the only way I can start doing it is I have to walk the talk and talk the walk. And I have to prove to other people that if we take care our food biodiversity heritage, if we take care our indigenous knowledge, basically there is no such problem in securing our food sources. So this is just examples on how the things that we grow at home. I'm living in an urban area. I'm living in a townhouse, very small space. I don't have like a big land plots, but this is where I learn how to maximize every single centimeter that we have to grow different kind of food ingredients. And what's really interesting that a lot of people are saying like, oh, I don't have a green thumb. It's very difficult to grow, a food. So I started that is my case as well. Actually, I don't have a green thumb. So I started to learn from indigenous community. We started to collect wild edible food, because wild edible food is basically taking care of itself. So the nature are taking care or nurturing this food. So basically, once we get to start to know forgotten edible wild food, we started to realize that there are so many things that we can grow and we can consume. So this is just some photos from the house, and these are some of the ingredients that I grow both in the house and then also at our food store garden. So you can imagine, because we are looking into beautiful kind of things, and also again I'm trying to pass on also the passion of growing things to my son. So I think it's very important, and that's why I'm always a big admirer of Green School, because the reason why we're losing our food biodiversity heritage is because there is no passing on the knowledge and the culture. So that's why having our youngsters to be involved in the very beginning is very important. So I'm just showcasing, for example, for rice alone, Indonesia used to have 7,000 different type of rice variety. And this rice variety not only come in different color, but they also come with a different nutrition and also different growing condition, including we have rice that grow in the sandy beach area, taking water from the sea. We have rice that grows in the swamp area, that's in Kalimantan. We have rice that grows in the river area. So basically, it's just amazing how our food biodiversity is workable in different kind of terrain and climate. So on the left bottom side, you see there is one of our heirloom rice. This is backdated from the 10th century. Basically, in every single rice is a half red and half white, and it's higher in protein. So of course we have like moringa that is considered as a superfood, and basically this is also wild edible grown food. So basically it becomes so endless. Look at all these different kind of color of rice, and then the sorghum, the corn, and it's just so sad. I mean, like if like in Indonesia, in places like in Flores Island, where we have one of the highest number of malnutrition, but actually they're very abundant in this kind of heritage food resources. So of course, this different type of tubers. For example, in Papua, there are thousands of cultivars of edible roots. And this is the type of plants that you don't need to take care. You just plug it into the soil and then let the nature, take care of itself. So basically, also in terms of how our marine are very abundant in terms of the sea. So these are different type of sugar that grows in the mangrove area, in the peatland area, in the normal agricultural land area. So basically, every different type of landscape have different kind of sources. So this is another example how abundant our food heritage is. An example on the salt. So Indonesia doesn't produce not only sea salt like we came across in Bali Island or in Madura Island, but we also have a plant-based salt. So in the top right is basically a plant that you can extract to produce salt. And the salt is very low in sodium, which is very good for people with a high blood pressure. So this is interesting because we heard about like mountain salt, like in Himalaya, we heard about sea salt, but not many people knows that actually there are also plants that are salty. And in Papua, there are a number of plants that are salty. So, and this kind of knowledge is actually retained by indigenous communities or smallholder farmers, people in remote and rural Indonesia. So our role is basically how to document that and then try to have it delivered to the market by building the entrepreneurship. So this is another examples of different kind of food colorants. So basically plant-based colorants are also very abundant in Indonesia. So if you have kids, they wanted to have a playful, colorful food, we have it. It doesn't have to be chemical, artificial food colors, but we have it all also. And they're also rich in terms of the nutrients. So what do we do? So basically, we try to bring forgotten food biodiversity to the global market through products, through gastrocultural experience, through tourism. So there are different kind of ways that we do. But basically, our strategy in making heritage food become sexy and hype again is basically through different kind of activity. One is definitely innovation, because innovation is needed for to make sure that our unique food culture can be relevant to the market. And definitely we are using our biocultural diversity as our unique selling proposition. But the biggest challenge, because food are consumable products, we have to make sure that the community-based products can also comply with the certification and food safety standards, because otherwise we will not be able to reach the market. And again, it's very important that we always convey we don't sell food products, but we sell the food culture of Indonesia, because it doesn't come only with the food products, but it comes with the story behind it, the values, the social impact, ecological impact. So that's why we always love to build the branding of the farmers and the indigenous communities as part of our strategy. And definitely the uses of technology is also needed, especially to help our farmers and indigenous community to adapt with the climate change. So this is an example of the first products that we introduced to the market, because Indonesia used to have 7,000 different rice variety. Most of it are gone. In our network is still retain about 1,200 varieties, but the one that we have launched to the market is around 40, but the one that is responded well by the market is only 8. So we've been exporting this rice bamboo basket to Italy since 2012. So basically, we realized that if we want to retain our food biodiversity heritage, it's very important to also nurture the ecosystem for entrepreneurial to revive the bioculture diversity, especially among smallholder farmers and indigenous communities. So our main target are youth, women, and indigenous communities. So this is an example how we create different kind of products based on cultural tradition. So we have like plant-based salt. We have a salt that are wrapped in coconut leaves, and these are the products that easily we send out to Europe, to US, to Canada. So this is interesting to see that although these are products from remote and rural Indonesia and produced by indigenous communities, by rural enterprises, but we can prove that this product can make it to the market. And thus far, we have the experience of the last since 2011. We've been exporting to over 30 countries in 5 continents. And this is a big pride for us. It's basically because we're not only celebrating the food ingredients, but we are also celebrating the indigenous community, the food artisans that are behind the products. So this is another example of the food productions that is done in North Bali using the greenhouse, and somehow using the greenhouse not only producing good quality, very clean salt, but also creating salt with different shapes because of its natural shape. But also the most important thing is addressing the climate change, because in the past, for example, salt farmers in Bali can only produce during December to February because of the raining season. But now with the climate change, January, February, July, June, it can be rain as well. So it's very difficult for them to do production. By doing it inside the greenhouse, they can do it all year long and they can do it faster and the yield is higher. So this is an example how tradition meets innovation. So this is Yuyun from the Moi tribe in Sorong, which basically we combine between their indigenous knowledge on from foraging, what are edible and not edible food, and then from there we develop the products which we can deliver to the wider market, and we help communities like Yuyun to have their production facility. So basically, they're not only farmers or foragers, but they are the owner of the business itself. So the facility, the production facility are owned by them. So this is how we rebrand our heritage food through products, through cooking classes, through dining experience, through from tourism. So on the left is basically our flagship store in Kemang, which Bulini has visited. And in this place, we provide a full experience of shop, eat, and learn. So we also created different culinary experience, food culture experience, and this place also serves as the stage where we showcase the farmers, the indigenous community, so they can be the one who are cooking and what do you call it, and showcasing. So basically, we always make a joke, not a joke. Basically, this is what we believe, because Javara is a company that creates company at the rural and remote areas. So we are acting more like an artist manager, where we are the manager and the artists are the farmers, foragers, fishers, and food artisans. So this is an example how we created the stage for the farmers. This is a coffee farmers, and we created coffee pairing events, which basically the farmers themselves are the one who are presenting or doing the cooking. So we do a lot of gastrocultural tourism as well, because this is another way of diversifying the income for the farmers and indigenous communities. Because apparently the income from gastrocultural tourism is actually much more appealing and lucrative, and it also provides a diversification of income. So branding is one of the key market penetration. So our flagship store, for example, in 2019, right before the pandemic, we received food tracking awards from World Food Travel Association as the best creative space for food lovers attraction. So these are the different kind of events that we created, showcasing the different farmers. So
But thank you so much. It's such a rich visual
okay, sure,
experience.
no worries.
It's
Yeah,
rich
so
visually.
basically that was my presentation. And
I think it's just a delay, but we were just saying that it's such a rich visual experience, as tasty as the food itself. So thank you so much for sharing this vision. And we were wondering, what is this crazy blue food? Is that rice that is blue in
yes,
color?
no, we are using the blue pea flour as a natural plant-based colorant.
Amazing. I want to eat it straight away, to eat blue. Thank you so much for this amazing work that you're doing. You're
Thank
working,
you.
you have 600 products,
Yes,
but how many people are working? How many farmers and foragers are there?
10,000 family farms, fishers, foragers, and indigenous community and food artisans.
10,000 people. That's incredible.
10,000 families.
10,000 families, even more.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So now, Lenny, we're going to